So, Mercosur deal, and then I'm going to leave and go and watch Adelaide in our nativity play. Um, Farmers in Northern Ireland now are going to face a real challenge, and it's coming from across the Atlantic. The EU Mercosur trade deal is going to allow cheap imports of beef and dairy products from South America into Europe. This might sound like a win for consumers. It's bad news for farmers in the EU and Northern Ireland. The UK are likely to be pretty well protected unless the Labour government sells out their farmers yet again with more pressure after this, which wouldn't surprise me, to be quite honest, after the inheritance tax pressures. Our farmers in Northern Ireland and the EU are held to the highest standards in the world in quality produce. They're held to the highest standards to sustainability and animal welfare. There's constant pressure from the Green lobby. In Northern Ireland, we're getting constant pressure. It seems like there's a anti-cow agenda, to be quite honest, and we have a new TB proposals regarding compensation to put more pressure on us as well, on top of the Green stuff and the inheritance tax. And I'm going to make a bit of a video about that sometime soon as well. But look, the Mercosur countries can produce food at much lower cost than us because they don't follow the same rules, and the result of that's going to be cheap imports flooding into the EU market and driving down prices for us. We're competing with products that don't match our standards, yet they'll be sitting on the same supermarket shelves. So this would be a call to any consumers who see this, that if you care about your foods, there's been a lot of talk about Bovier, people obviously do care about their food. If you care about your food, do not buy these substandard South American products whenever they start coming in. That's the only way that this can be beaten. If the consumer doesn't buy it, they won't come. This deal puts a lot of pressure on the future of Northern Ireland, Northern Ireland's beef and dairy industries. Thousands of livelihoods are tied to farms in Northern Ireland, and the communities and the economy completely revolves around agriculture. This was actually a big part of the reason why I voted for Brexit. And while Brexit in Northern Ireland is very controversial and it's been jumped on from a political bandwagon sort of point of view, Northern Ireland politics, it's not the reason why I would have voted for it. I voted for it for economic reasons, and this was one of the main reasons why I would have voted for it. And because we've ended up with, essentially, we didn't get Brexit in Northern Ireland. We got what I would describe, yes, we have access to EU markets for our milk products, but we got, from a regulatory point of view, we got the worst of all worlds. We have to comply with all EU law and all UK law. And now, because of this, the Mercosur trade deal is going to affect us as well. I suppose all I can do is call for people to put the message out to the consumers to not buy this substandard product. Again, I'll highlight, obviously people don't want this Bovier. Well, Bovier is nowhere near as bad as what's going to be coming in now. You're going to have beef that's treated with hormones, fed with all GM, etc. You're going to have milk that is produced from cows that are from substandard welfare. If you care about the green carbon thing, South America is not a very green place. They're just demolishing the rainforest, etc., to continually to build more farms and to grow more soya, etc. Look, support your local farmers. Buy United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, EU produce. That's all, I suppose, that I can really say on it. We're not in a good position with this Mercosur deal. It's going to leave us completely price uncompetitive. And we need the consumer to stand up for what they want. And I think Bovier really highlights this. I think it's not a poor time. I mean, it is what it is. But for this Mercosur deal to come along at the time whenever there's been such a backlash about feeding an additive that in reality probably doesn't do any harm, well, what's going to be coming, as I've said, is going to be much worse. So vote with your pocket when it comes to buying your produce. and buy local, buy local, buy local, buy local. That's the message. So hopefully this gets out to some of the consumers who probably don't realise how this is going to affect your what you're going to be seeing on your supermarket shelves.